Hello and welcome back to our channel. My name is Alicia Cooper, and this video is a little bit different than other ones that I posted on our channel. This is a little bit of a blog post that I wrote. The blog post is not posted yet publicly, but will be soon. So I'm happy to share that a little bit with you today. This blog post is about 8 marriage secrets from a couple who have been married for over 27 years. My husband and I are approaching our 28th wedding anniversary. We are very excited about that. And I just wanted to share some tips that have helped us along the way, and hopefully these tips can help you too. What I'm going to do is read a little bit of the blog post that I wrote. I have my notes over here, and then on the screen there will be some tips that you can take away that will hopefully be helpful to you, that have been helpful to us. So let's get started. So the first tip is to communicate honestly and openly. Marriage is all about communication. This is very essential for a healthy relationship, and it will be even more helpful if you make sure you are as calm as possible when you are trying to have the conversation. I apologize if you hear a little lisp. I have Invisalign in my mouth, so if you hear a little lisp, that's what that is. So I apologize for that. When you are having discussions with your spouse, you want to make sure you are leading with facts rather than feelings. Being overly emotional can sometimes complicate communication, as it can prevent people from clearly articulating what they're trying to say, and again, it can prevent people from hearing properly. And ladies, you know how we can be. Sometimes we can get a little bit overly emotional about whatever we're talking about. What happens is when our emotions are high, our husband's ears shut down. They're not going to hear us. They don't like it when we talk so much about our feelings. Just try to stick to the main points of whatever you're trying to communicate about. And if it's something that's been bugging you, some conversation you've been trying to have, for a while, calm down before you talk to your spouse. Whatever you got to do to get yourself in a calm state, and then just have a conversation, but try to keep it to the point, because again, guys just don't like all the constant talking and I feel like this, I feel like that. No, the man is just he's going to shut down and not hear what you have to say. So lead with facts over feelings whenever you are communicating. This is for the ladies again, communicating with your spouse. The second tip is to be respectful at all times. It should go without saying, but out here in these YouTube streets, I have seen some crazy things with people and how they communicate with each other. Respect is key in any relationship. Always treat your spouse with the respect they deserve and never take them for granted. This includes not only respecting their opinions and beliefs, but also respecting their privacy and personal space. What does respectful communication look like? It's simple. It's when you listen more than you talk, and when you take the time to understand your spouse's point of view, even if you don't agree with it. Even within marriage, each spouse does deserve their own personal space and privacy. My husband and I are kind of open with our relationship in terms of accessing, say, our cell phones, computers, whatever. We share passwords, all that. Again, we've been married for almost 28 years. It's kind of a habit for us. Maybe you're not there yet. Maybe you're not comfortable with that for whatever reason. But the point is, you should have a discussion about how you want to be treated within your marriage. Don't make assumptions. And you have to make your wishes known. Your spouse is not just going to know what you want. You have to clearly communicate what it is that you want, and respect each other's boundaries. That's kind of the adult thing to do when you are married to another adult. Don't and try not to take them for granted. That's very key. The next point is to spend quality time together. That should go without saying too, but unfortunately, as we get busy in this, this fast-paced society, people kind of forget that it's important to spend quality time together. But this means setting aside time for just the two of you without any distractions. This can be something as simple as going for a walk together, having dinner together with just the two of you, going to a movie, whatever you feel like doing. When you take the time to connect with your spouse on a personal level, it helps strengthen the relationship. And again, it cannot be overstated. Spending quality time together, just the two of you, is very important. And you have to make time to do it regularly because we are in such a busy, fast-paced life, society. It seems like the older we get, things just are moving at the speed of light. And I can't believe this is May of 2022 already. Like, where has the time gone? But you'll look up and it'll be weeks, months, years later, and you might feel like you don't even know your spouse. That's because you haven't taken the time to invest in each other, to spend quality time together, just the two of you. It's very important. You can even do a date night once or twice a week, however many times you can fit it into your week. But it's very important to be intentional about spending quality time together. That's how you kind of deposit into the love bank, into your emotional bank with each other. That's comes from spending quality time together. I don't know how else to say it, but it's very important. So please make the time to do that. The next point that can be helpful in your marriage is to share common interests. A strong marriage benefits from some shared interests. You don't have to like all of the same things, and you shouldn't expect to like all the same things because you're two separate individuals bringing your individual likes, desires into this new marriage. So you should expect to not like the same things all the time, but that makes it interesting. You can learn something about the things that your spouse likes and vice versa. Just be open to whatever it is that each of you bring. You are uniquely you. You're coming into the marriage to create a new whole. And so just be open to the process of sharing a common interest. That can make marriage more enjoyable because you want to guard against having separate lives from each other. Otherwise, you're just roommates. What's the point of being married if you live separate lives? So having some shared interest can make the marriage more enjoyable. The next thing that's really important is to not keep score. You don't want to hear yourself saying, well, I did this today, so now it's your turn. Or I don't feel like doing that because I did that earlier today and now it's your turn to do this or that. That's not a good thing to do. It will never be even ever in life. And this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You're in it for the long haul. So just keep that in mind. I know sometimes when it's early in your marriage and it seems like one person is doing more of something than the other person, you just kind of get overwhelmed and you want to lash out and again be tit for tat or keep score. But that builds resentment, and that's something that you don't want to do. That will also cause you to hold on to negative emotions, and that's not a good thing because you will start focusing on those negatives than the positives. The longer you stay married, the more opportunities you will have to give and take. That's the key. The longer you stay married, so time will even things out in your marriage. So giving and taking will never be 50-50, but it will appropriately balance itself out over time as each spouse has the opportunity to grow into their roles. The key word there is time. So the longer you stay married, the more evened out things will be. But again, earlier in your marriage, it might seem uneven. Try not to worry about that. There's no way you could possibly keep score. No person perfectly does this one thing all the time and the other does or does not do something all the time. That's really not reality. We also have a bias. We do, towards ourselves, and we think we're working much harder than we are sometimes. So that it can be dangerous to keep score. So that's one thing that you don't want to do. The next tip is to forgive and forget, but kind of. And I say kind of because you can forgive, but in a literal sense, you're not going to forget whatever something that might have hurt your feelings or whatever. And it is definitely easier said than done, excuse me. Holding on to resentment will only cause bitterness and problems in the marriage. It's also important to kind of forget about the mistakes that your spouse made in the past. And again, I said kind of forget because you won't, because we all have a memory. However, kind of forgetting about your spouse's mistakes means that you are not dwelling on the mistakes of the past, which will only damage your marriage. Nothing good will come of constantly bringing up mistakes, especially if the spouse has apologized for whatever they did and have taken steps to correct the mistake. Forgiveness and letting go of things are necessary for a healthy marriage. Let the past stay in the past and always work towards creating a better future. Focus on going forward, getting better. Don't focus on thinking about the past. And it's easy. Is it simple? No, because we're complicated humans, and sometimes, again, emotions get in the way. But that's something to practice that will help you grow in your marriage. The next tip is to be there for each other. Let's slide into advance there. Support each other in good times and bad times, happy times and sad times. You support each other in your individual pursuits and stand by each other in difficult times. When one of you is going through a tough time, the other spouse is there to lift each other up and provide support. This type of unconditional support is one of the key ingredients to a successful marriage. And sometimes I know it's easy if we are tired, we feel overworked, we might feel unappreciated. Your spouse might need you more in some seasons of life than others, but it is so key to sometimes sit your pride aside, your fatigue, whatever you have going on, set that aside and be there for your spouse, and they will reciprocate. It might not be tomorrow or the next day, but again, over time, things will even out. And as you are supportive of each other, that will build good feelings, that will build your love and respect for each other, versus if you try to pull away or you feel like maybe a spouse is needy or something. If you are ever feeling resentful feelings or feeling like you're not appreciated, which is preventing you from being supportive of your spouse, please have a conversation about it. Just don't sit back and complain about it, because nobody can fix it if they don't know what's going on. And the last tip, which is actually probably the most important, and I don't know if I can actually say this word on the YouTubes, but it's on the screen, and that is to have intimacy, three-letter word beginning with S, beginning in X. Regular intimacy makes you a happier couple. This might not be something that you want to hear, but it is true. Couples who are intimate with each other more regularly are happier in marriage. Intimacy is a stress reliever and brings you closer to your spouse in every way. Intimacy within marriage is the highest, deepest form of intimacy, pun intended, and intimacy should be mutually satisfying and should be a priority in the marriage. Again, it kind of should go without saying, and out in these YouTube streets, I've seen in comment sections of people's videos talk about how they're not intimate on a regular basis with their spouse anymore. I saw one person the other day say that they don't really care if it's enjoyable for their spouse. It's a duty, they just get it done and that's it. That's kind of sad. Who wants to be in a relationship like that? Intimacy should be mutually satisfying and should be engaged in often. This is grown folks talk. If you feel squeamish or funny about that, you might want to get some counseling, because it's the truth. Happier marriages have regular intimacy. And again, I can't say what's on the screen there because, YouTube censorship and all that. But anyway, I think you get the drift. Intimacy is very important, can't be overstated, and just get it done. If you're not getting it done, get you some counseling to get it fixed. So those are the 8 tips that I had for you today. Hopefully you found that helpful. And whenever I get the blog post posted somewhere, I will notify you guys on YouTube. So in case you want to read it, I didn't read everything that I wrote. I read a lot of it, but not everything. But hopefully that's helpful to you. And if you have any questions, comments, please put them in the box below the video. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these. Do you think you can forgive and forget, kind of? Do you think you can increase intimacy? Do you think you can not keep score? Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps with the algorithm. And if you thought it was helpful, please share it with someone else. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. And I hope you'll be blessed wherever you are. Take care.